Welcome to the Awakening Women podcast. I'm your host, Leanne Oaten, and for almost a decade, I have been a transformation coach and therapist. This podcast is all about lifting the veil of consciousness and awakening to the truth. It is also about helping you to raise the bar in all areas of your life and relationships by starting with you. If you're ready to take back your personal power and reclaim your life, you have come to the right place. I'm so glad that you're here, so let's get started with today's episode. Why is the advice to just leave, run the other way, start your life over, walk away, all of that empowering women advice that, yes, it's so easy to put that in a meme. That's like, if someone doesn't see your worth, walk away. Or if you're not being treated as you want to, or you're dealing with a toxic man, then run. You got to leave, get out, run, don't look back. You've seen it everywhere, I'm sure. But I'm here to offer a different, hopefully more empowering perspective, because that's not really empowerment by being told what to do. That's not empowerment. Empowerment happens within us when we do our own work to get empowered. Okay, so that's the first thing. Someone outside of you telling you to leave, what to do, what steps to take, that is not empowerment, because that's just telling them what you think that they should do. And this is why when I'm coaching women, I avoid telling them directly what to do when it comes to this. I help them discover from within themselves what the next right steps are for them that take into account their situation, their safety, what ducks they need to get in a row, what finances they need to get in a row, what consultations and legal advice and professional help, things that they need to consider before they just run off into the night. That if they don't do these things, maybe it will put them in a worse off position if they were to just run. Now, this is aside from assuming you're not physically in danger, you're not dealing with a dangerous, volatile drug addict, alcoholic, someone who is dangerous, who throws things, who becomes violent, who rages, who is physical, who scares you, who's intimidating. That's one end of the spectrum. And of course, you still need to figure out how to get out of those situations. But if you are in physical danger or your kids are in the home, then yes, you would take the first opportunity that you have to get the fuck out. So that is the kind of side note, the disclaimer here, that I am not saying that this advice is for every woman. This is for you if you are dealing with dynamics where you are experiencing some of those core abuse tactics of gaslighting, blame shifting, stonewalling, the crazy making, the circular communication, the lying, the not taking accountability, certain passive-aggressive comments, and abuse cycles that are also followed by nice behavior, and then more abusive cycles and nice behavior, and it just goes on and on and on and on. So you're dealing with that, but you know, like you're like 99% sure, like you may not feel emotionally safe with the person, or you feel uneasy, or you don't feel safe with them, but you don't have any reason to believe that they're going to become violent, and they never have. Does that mean that they never could? No. So I'm being very careful here because I know I'm speaking to, a vulnerable audience to a degree when I'm talking about domestic violence or abuse of any kind. I'm mindful of that, but I also know like the women that come and work with me or that take my programs, they're not in that type of situation. They need to get local support from people in their city, family, other agencies to get out if you're in that situation. This is more for you if you are working, you have money coming in, you've got some stability, hopefully you've got your own bank accounts, your own credit cards. It's like number one thing, have your own finances sorted, get your own bank account, get your own credit cards and access to money. So if you don't have all of these things in place, then you may not be in a place to leave. You're not setting yourself up for success. So the advice of run, leave, whatever, I think that that's not helpful. What is helpful is, all right, here's where you need to look. The goal is to get out, right? The goal is you do your own work instead of focusing outward on what he's doing, what he's not doing, what the work he's doing, what he's refusing to do, all his tactics. Like when I read stuff about what women are going through in our communities, they are very focused on what they are doing, what he is doing. So that's why your work is to turn all of that energy and focus and pour it towards self, doing your own work to empower yourself. through that work, you start to see things differently. You have mindset shifts. You suddenly have, breakthroughs and new perspectives, and you start having clarity. So the empowerment is coming from within, which means it is going to be much more powerful than someone saying, girl, you just need to leave. Here's this place that's come available. You better grab it. And without breaking any confidences, obviously, or confidentiality, I was just coaching one of my clients through something like this week. If you're listening, you know who I'm talking about. I'm very careful not to share details, but just that she was presented with an opportunity to leave and go somewhere else. But through talking about it and not telling her what to do, the discovery was, no, you actually have a few things you need to get in a row first, right? So that's why that advice is just so stupid. And when women post that stuff underneath my posts, like if I'm posting about like you have your own work to do, yes, of course the goal, if it's abusive, the goal is to leave. It just might not be like tomorrow. It might mean you have this, that, and this and that to get together. And that's why in the cycle program, I have a whole module on what you need to do. What are those ducks in a row? What appointments do you need to book? What considerations do you need? Who do you need to talk to first? What preparation do you need to have in place? What do you tell other people around you when you're planning this? How do you get the right support when you're going through this from people who don't get it, who are like, are you sure you want to do this? And you're like pulled in all these directions. How do you make plans when you know that you're leaving, when you're kind of keeping it on the down low? There's a lot that goes into it, and it can be overwhelming, but it's taking those steps, because that one step uncovers the next, or it shows you, oh, actually, I need to go over here and deal with this first. It is about getting everything in place so that when you do leave, you don't return. You have your strategy in place for how you're going to set boundaries when you are out the other side, so that you're not pulled back into the cycles of manipulation and go back. Those are all aspects that need to be done, but it starts with paving the way and setting that foundation of your own inner work first. For some women, that takes, I've seen in my program, like 30 days when they do the 30-day reset. They get that clarity and out they go. Some women, it's months and even years. So I'm not here to judge any woman, and nobody should be judging any woman for not running and leaving because everyone on the internet says to do that. I am aware that it is not easy to just do that. It's not easy, and you may have things you need to do first. So if this sounds like you and you would like to get coaching and support from me, from a community, from my program around how to do this, it's not open at the moment, but you can get on the wait list, and I'll put the link in the show notes. The other thing is that over the next 4 or 6-ish weeks, I'm not sure, I'll see how many I'm going to do, I'm running weekly live webinars. Should I stay or should I go? And these are not going to be recorded. They're live sessions. So you show up, you take the class, you can ask your questions at the end. And then if you want to continue on and enroll into the program, I will have the registration open for a short period after each class. So that's how I'm going to be doing it over the next few weeks, so that you have a chance to come in, learn from the class, ask any questions, and then decide if the program is right for you to continue on with. So both of the links for the free class and the waitlist for the program will be here in the show notes. If this is where you're stuck, where you're really wrapped up in the daily minutia, the daily nonsense that's going on, and you've lost sight of the bigger picture, right? You're just caught up in the fuckery and the chaos and the stupid behavior and the dumb cycles that just are mind-numbing. Like, that's really what it is, right? You're so distracted with all of that. You're not at all focused on your own work, what you need to be doing. You're the common denominator here, and this is especially true if you've been in more than one toxic relationship, and many of you have. So you have your own work to do. And that's why my advice is not just you need to leave. Yes, that is my goal for you, and hopefully it's your goal. It just might not be tomorrow, next week, next month, right? It might require that you have some steps to take first. This also means you have work to do emotionally. It's healing, it's releasing, it's looking at the past, it's looking at the patterns. It's when you look back on it, you look at what you put up with and you just are like disgusted with yourself, right? When you're in it, you don't see it. But when you're on the other side of it, you look back, right? Hindsight is 20/20. You're like, why didn't I see this after the first couple of years that this pattern exists? And why did I keep staying? Why did I keep giving in and forgiving and offering 1,000,001 chances for the same repeated bad behavior and horrible treatment and the way that I was treated? Yes, you can look back on that and you ask yourself, okay, why did I? That is the work. So you're still in that situation, is to ask yourself, why do I keep falling for this fake nice change behavior, for the sudden flip of the switch, and now he's Mr. Nice Guy? I'm falling for the apologies. I'm sitting around, waiting around because now he's in therapy and he's coming home to tell me about all that he's learning about how I'm the problem. And that's what we're talking about now, is that I have my own issues that I need to work on that his therapist said, right? I mean, I'm just kind of elaborating, but this is the crap that goes on, right? You sit around and you wait for this man to see that he is not a good person at the core. If he was, he wouldn't be treating you the way that he does. You wait around for them to see the light. You can wait 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, more, 30, 35. I've seen women in a relationship like this, waiting that one day you're going to say just the right thing and they're going to see the light and the sky's going to open and they're going to see all what they've done and the whole rest of your relationship is going to be about them making it up to you. We have to see reality. So my challenge for you is to make a commitment to yourself that your plan is to get out. Your plan is to leave and heal and create a new life for yourself. You just might not at this point know the what and the how. Like the how is more so. The what is, I know I need to get out of here. You just might not know what exactly you need to do first, which is what I help you with. Here's what you need to do. You may not know the how. How are you going to do it? Although you'll have a strategy, and you might not know the when, but you will know that I need to get out of this situation. So that might be where you're at, is I know I need to leave, but now what? Like, what do I do? I'm not ready to just pack up and leave, pack my kids up. I obviously work with women who have a lot of entanglements that are real. They're very real, and they're not something that can be easily resolved right away. And so that means, okay, so what do I do in the interim, in the meantime, right? What do I do? And we go through all of that in my program, by the way. It's very intensive. It's very involved. Like I go really in depth into all of this, like how to handle this when you're in it. All right, so that is what I wanted to share with you today on this episode. If that's where you're at and you just feel like that blanket advice of you just need to get out, they're never going to change, isn't helping you right now, you have to learn that and see that for yourself through doing your own inner work with a strategy, with new ways of seeing things, challenging yourself to reframe your thinking, realize fear is normal. No matter what, you're going to be scared as you start taking these steps toward that. You're always going to feel that fear. And how do you move through it despite that fear? Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Awakening Women podcast. If you love this show and it has served you and helped you on your journey, please take a moment right now and leave a rating and review in iTunes and Spotify. If you'd like more daily content, videos, and inspiration, come on over and join me at Awakening Women Support Official over on Instagram, where we can connect and you can continue your transformation and growth journey. And I'll see you online. Take care.